I've always been stoked to grow up in a small town and still be able to follow the dream that I wanted to be a BMX rider and do it professionally. I grew up being very dyslexic. I had very chronic asthma, so I homeschooled through junior high and high school, but when I think back, it was really more about me wanting to ride my bike all day. I grew up riding around those days in a driveway that my bike barely fit on. Some guys in New Orleans were looking for flatland riders. A guy called me. He was kind of like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 11, 12 years old." But I think they were still impressed because I was so tiny and the bike looked so big on me. That was like a changing point. I went from being a kid that loved to ride flatland to being a kid that became obsessed. I would go through a BMX magazine and rip out every single flatland photo I could find and cover my walls from top to bottom. And I stared at those photos and I was like, this is what I'm gonna be. You know, I'm gonna ride bikes for a living. Katrina was one of those tricks where like a dream trick. It was kind of a long shot. It seemed so impossible. The reason I named it Katrina was because we're an hour from New Orleans, so I decided to really put in the time was when there was no electricity around. I can remember just jumping over and jumping over and jumping over. And then I remember the first time I landed on the pegs, that was when I knew, like, I got this. Looking back, it's been 11 years since I learned it. I would say in all my years of riding, one of the more defying moments in my career was learning that trick, the Katrina, just mainly because it opened up so many doors, not just in riding, but in life, to know that, man, if I can do this, I can do anything.